Welcome back, followers. Let's see those thumbs up in the chat. Let's go. Let's have some fun tonight. What's up, everybody? Can I get a thumbs up in the chat? He sure is, Meatball. All right, I think that's long enough of an intro. Welcome back, ballers. Happy Thursday night. Thank you guys for hanging out with me for this presentation titled Bulls on Parade. I would have loved to play Bulls on Parade by Rage Against the Machine, but we know for copyright issues, that's not possible. But I just want to say hello to everybody in the chat, those that are watching the stream at this moment. I really appreciate you guys joining. This is part of my Knowledge Pays series. However, I am titling this particular presentation Bulls on Parade, and you'll understand why. Shout out and congratulations to those in my Patreon for yet our 11th sweep this month. Are we serious? Oh my God, the bar just keeps getting set higher and higher. I'm spoiling the hell out of you guys, to say the least. But we're having fun over there. Please make sure to check me out. You know, give me a shot. It's $60, $50 or $60 a month. Comes out to $2 a day on the Patreon. And I think you guys would be surprised not only with the hit rate, but as well as the way that I present my content. Like I said, the reason why I make these particular shorter streams is to really educate people about the lens of gematria, the lens of date durations, birthdays, death dates, understanding your history. In this case, really more understanding the history about Michael Jordan. And I was decoding this particular game late last night. This was the only top 25 rated game on the slate today in college football. The South Florida Bulls hosting the Boise State Broncos. As always, this is a disclaimer to say that this content is not created to promote or encourage any form of sports gambling, but I know that there are plenty of people in my corner that appreciate this particular content and appreciate my very clear leans or picks as far as what teams I like on any given day. So without further ado, we will jump right into it. Bulls on Parade, Michael Jordan edition. These are all direct screenshots, by the way, from my Patreon page that came out timestamped 7 hours ago. So this was released probably around 2 o'clock today, about 2.5 hours before game time. And my leans or my picks were to take South Florida, the South Florida Bulls, either on the spread, having them to cover 5.5 points, or roll the dice and take them to win money line. They were at home with serious value. Plus 164 doesn't get much better than that. It does sometimes, but notice too that Boise State was rated in the top 25, and South Florida at this point isn't ranked. I'm sure after tonight's game, they most likely will be, or at least being considered. So sure enough, South Florida They had a 10-7 lead to start the first half, and then they just destroyed Boise State in the second half. It wasn't even close. But to really kick off, I guess, one of the first things I pointed out about this game, there's a number of different things, you guys. So I'm going to do my best to go slow with this in really explaining why. Let me move it this way. Why I really felt that over time, as I started further researching why this was a Michael Jordan ritual. The first thing I noticed was that this game was being played in Tampa, Florida, home of Raymond James Stadium. Okay, Raymond James Stadium, which equals 288 in the reverse cipher. Why does that matter? Well, today's game was played on August 28th, the date written 28/8, right? And the name of the stadium matters a lot. Reason being is that Michael Jordan's father, right, who was murdered back in the day when Michael Jordan won his championships with the Bulls, his name is James Raymond Jordan Sr. So you have James Raymond Jordan, and you have Raymond James Stadium. So you can appreciate that wordplay. And to kick off the code, what I really pointed out was just showing how intertwined Michael Jordan's birthday as well as his father's birthday are very directly aligned to the number 66 and 317, because 317 is the 66th prime number. But notice that James Raymond Jordan Sr., his birthday is July 31st, the date written 3/1/7, right? And Michael Jordan, he's born on the date leaving 317 days remaining in the year. So both of their birthdays directly align with the number 317 and 66, because 317 is the 66 prime. Well, what if I told you that University of South Florida also equals 317, right? And they're hosting Boise State. I was about to say hoisting, but they're hosting Boise State in the Raymond James Stadium. Okay. Even further, well, and I just want to point out at one point the score did end up being 31-7. See what I'm saying? South Florida did end up kicking a field goal to end the game with 34 points, which matters, which I'll get to in a second. But sure enough, that 317 that I emphasized in my notes before game time ended up showing face in the score alone. So I mentioned it's important to know that, like I said here, South Florida, they won with 34 points, right? Well, that matters because the city of Chicago, home of the Chicago Bulls, they were founded on March 4th, the date written 3/4. So another tribute to the Chicago Bulls and Michael Jordan. So I already pointed out the 288s and how Raymond James Stadium equals 288. But what if I told you that this game is being played, or was played, exactly 188 days before Chicago's founding date? That's a huge number. I've been doing this for about 5 years now, and you know, when you start really knowing your numbers with regards to some of these huge name athletes, hold on a second, you guys, really quick. I gotta pause. Hold on. All right, sorry about that, folks. My dog Cooper, he's been having issues licking his paw, so he has a cone, but his legs are so long he's able to get past it sometimes, so I had to stop him. Anyways, what are we talking about? 188s, right? So tonight's game was played 188 days before Chicago's founding date, the date written 3/4. The Bulls ended up scoring 34 points exactly, March 4th, written 3/4. Well, what if I told you that 188 matters for a number of reasons? Bavarian Illuminati, for example, equals 188. But so does Michael Jeffrey Jordan. So does greatest of all time in the same cipher, simplest cipher. A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, add it up, you get that 188. So it couldn't be more perfect from that perspective as well. We're going to keep it moving and start looking into the coaches. So the coach of the South Florida Bulls, Alex Golesh, he just so happens to have that Freemasonry birthday. So you had to chuckle at that one. And, not to mention that Michael Jordan equals 59, the 17th prime. Don't forget that modern Freemasonry was founded in the year 1717. But beyond that, what are the odds that when you measure from Alex Golesh's birthday to Michael Jordan's birthday, you get 238, where Michael Jordan in reverse equals 238. Keeping it moving here, today's game was also played, like I said, in Raymond James Stadium. The Bulls head coach's birthday is also exactly 37 days before Michael Jordan's father's birthday. That's a huge number for both Michael Jordan, which equals 37, and Chicago, which equals 37. Perfect. We're building quite a sandwich over here, aren't we? Beyond that, I told you guys about how 317 is the 66th prime. What if I pointed out to you as well that when you measure from tonight's game in college football back to Alex Golesh's birthday, you have exactly 65 days. So the game was 65 days after his birthday. Florida equals 65. But if you also add the end date, you could also say that it is the 66th day of his age. And that matters because Bulls equals 66. Boise State Broncos equals 66. Back to the 65, I forgot to mention that Boise State also equals 65. So it's just a perfect alignment for this coach to be facing this particular team, coaching for this particular team on this particular day. And when you flip over to the Boise State head coach, notice too that if you measure from today's game up to Spencer Danielson's birthday, who was the head coach of Boise State, it's a span of 66 days as well. Can you guys believe that? I mean, I don't know. These kind of alignments just show me exactly why these games are being played on these days with these coaches, with these birthdays, etc., all in alignment with the symbolism that we were talking about, the Bulls, right? So next, I have to dive a little bit deeper with you guys about Freemasonry. Like I mentioned, Alex Golesh, the head coach of the South Florida Bulls, about the number 47. And that matters because this game, once again, was being played in Tampa Bay, which equals 47. You could also call it Tampa, which equals 15, which matters because 47 is the 15th prime number. But more importantly, 47 is a huge number related to Freemasonry. The compass stands on top of the square in the Bible at 47 degrees. Think about the 47th problem of Euclid, etc. And for an additional 47, the 15th prime connection, notice that the South Florida coach, Alex Golesh, was one game away from picking up his 15th all-time win with the program and keeping Spencer Danielson on 15 all-time wins with his program. Doing so in Tampa Bay, which equals 47, the 15th prime, just like how Tampa equals 15. You guys see that? Talk about airtight, pun intended. Air Jordan, you guys get it? And really the mic drop, you guys, just look at this. I opened this presentation talking about James Raymond Jordan Sr. The game is played in Raymond James Stadium. Just go look up the founding date or the date that the Raymond James Stadium actually first opened. September 20th, huh? Interesting. Exactly 23 days from now. Come on. Michael Jordan, number 23, as we got 23 people watching right now. It's amazing. But anyways, yeah, like I said, I always try to keep these particular presentations short and sweet. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please make sure to hit that like and subscribe and the share wherever you guys see fit. Maybe you guys have a huge Michael Jordan fan out there. I think this would be a great one to share with them on how this particular college football game fell directly in line with Michael Jordan and his daddy. So I will end it there by once again thanking everybody for all of the likes and the subscribes and the shares. Please help me get the word out, man. I'm doing everything I can to put this content together, spend some time on the air, getting the word out and kind of explaining the notes for some people. But thank you, Quantum. Thank you, O. Thank you guys so much for all of the love and support. I really appreciate it. And look at me, coming up right on that 17-minute mark almost, which we touched on earlier too with regards to Freemasonry. So I like to keep these short and sweet. I feel like there's a higher likelihood that people will be more likely to finish the video front to back. But hopefully you guys learn some new things along the way and have some things you guys can take away from this particular presentation. And without further ado, I will wrap it up there. Make sure to take care of yourselves. Peace, ballers.